Good evening, men. MGTOW. Aaron with Christian Men Going Their Own Way. Here, talking to you here for a little bit. I was introduced to a video of Pastor Steve Anderson, some Baptist preacher. He was making quite a show of MGTOW in front of his congregation, and I was not impressed, none the least. I think it was complete ignorance, and to all you MGTOW men out there who don't approve of Christianity, I want to apologize on behalf of this Steve, who is pretty much ignorant of what's really going on, or willful ignorance, I would say, to the point it's ridiculous. Being a Christian, walking with the Spirit of truth, you can definitely tell, I can anyways, when my own inner self gets in the way of the Spirit of truth, because the Spirit of truth is gentle, it shows you things, it does not allow you to form your own opinion of certain things and scenarios that you see or are introduced to. He will show you many angles of what he has brought to light to you, or whatever is in front of you, what you're dealing with, or if there's a problem. There's so many angles to deal with people in life. You can't just put people in a box and label them, because things happen to people in the past that cause them to act the way they are, and sometimes those things in the past were out of their control. I don't blame people anymore. I don't blame people for anything, unless they continually willfully do it, even though they've been showed the truth. Then you just walk away from people like that. But it's people like this, what was said in the sermon, this Steve, that is the reason a lot of you men have probably turned away from God. Seeing the arrogance and the ignorance and the accusatory, or the accusational attitude, or however you want to pronounce it, accusing MGTOW being cowards, childish, or just whiners. I had an uncle that stayed with me for a while, and he would still be alive if MGTOW was, if I had known about MGTOW, because I would have changed the way I dealt with him. He stayed with me. He committed suicide a few years back. He was, the family life, he didn't do everything right, but he provided a large house, many nice things, and, divorce came like everything else happens. You're busy providing, and you start to quite possibly neglect other things, because there's this mindset, you got to have all this nice stuff, and certainly the woman's not going to put the stop to that. She's going to like it to continue. So, and maybe some won't, I don't know, but that seems to be the general case. But his family, he stayed with me for a couple of years, and he was pretty wore out. He was a hard-working man, did a lot of physical labor, built houses, very strong, very strong. I watched him. He was about a 200-pound guy. I watched him one day in the weight room. He picked up did a 495-pound deadlift. And you didn't, this guy wasn't built. He was just kind of big. It's like most guys can't do such a thing like that. He was a tough freaking dude. And his son, who was bigger than him, couldn't touch that. So, at the time when he was like 18. Anyways, back to the story. He was burned out, and he just, when he was living with me, he sat and listened to a lot of Christian radio and a lot of teachings and stuff, and, he got some good input there, and he acknowledged he didn't do everything right, but I don't think his kids would forgive him, because they continue to expect more out of him. And one Thanksgiving, the last Thanksgiving that he was around, his kids were in the area where he was staying at, and they didn't bother to stop and see him. And just previous to that Thanksgiving, he had a stroke and lost some of his motor control. And his, he's doing all right after that, but his speech was a little slurred, but he could still get around. But none of his kids stopped in to see him. And that Christmas, I think Christmas Eve, a month later or so, it wasn't looking too good for his family coming to see him, and he killed himself, blew his head off. He couldn't take the rejection anymore of his family. And I only wish that I knew about MGTOW, because we would have set everything straight, got him on the right path. And I've only learned about it, last year and a half or so, and it's become more and more obvious, the truth. So, what society does to you and the expectations, people aren't content anymore. So, but yeah, I like I said, this video, this sermon he put out was ridiculous. Cold-hearted to people that have, are hurt. A lot of men out there don't know where to turn, and they sure as hell ain't gonna go to church when you gotta hear shit like that. So, and again, I apologize on behalf of, I'm not much of a representative of Jesus, but I mean, man, he loves you. I mean, if you give him a chance, he'll make himself real to you. And it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter where you're at. His will, his journey was to come down to earth and seek those who were lost, and bring all men unto him. And he doesn't offer those kind of attitudes that you get from a lot of these churches. So I just want to make that clear. I thought it was pretty ridiculous. Yeah. So, like I said, I'll put the link down there. Oh, I don't know if anything else new. I got fired up when I saw that. It's like, I've had enough of this, doing the right thing to find a good woman and this and that. And, these women, you give them a little time, and, they reflect who they are really fast. If you're not out to take their bait, they're gone. They're gone. They move on really fast. So, and back to, people with troubles. And I understand, why feminism has come about. There's been a lot of assholes too, but being, becoming a man of truth and being self-governed, I learned to stop. When I I learned to stop when I start walking away from the truth. It seems like with the feminism, yeah, there's women that are hurt, but they'll keep taking advantage of the scenario and keep pushing that narrative, even when it's expired to what they could glean off of it, or whatever they had to involve with it. So I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying. But yeah, we're in a world full of hurt people. It is what it is, and I look forward to the coming kingdom of God, when He'll rule with a rod of iron. Putting evil down, setting things right. What is the? I'm sure there's a Bible passage that I'm thinking of. It'll come here in a minute. Anyways, basically, when justice reigns, when true justice reigns, that's, and I think there's a lot of misunderstanding of what God has in store for people. Basically, it's when justice reigns and truth reigns, So, and I think we would all like to see that, but also on the flip side is, what are we doing right now? Are we doing stupid crap, or are we treating our fellow men right? Being good to everybody, I'm So, anyways, just some thoughts. I got pretty wound up about that sermon. So, and like I say, I don't blame you guys for never wanting to set foot in a church facility. I pretty much said I would never set foot in a church facility again because they're more interested in their fancy buildings, this and that. And it's like, I've had enough. I've been there, done that. It just turns into one form of bondage or after another. You're married to this building, and this you got all these bills you got to pay. You got to do the tithe, which is old doctrine done away with. So we're not Jews. We're never under Levitical law. I'm a Gentile. I have no dealings with Levitical law. And you got all these things that they'll start trying to have you do, and then you got to. And I'm not going to knock, though, a man spreading the gospel should not be deprived of what his wages, He has to earn a living too, but in this country, we went way overboard. So, and I think a lot of you guys see that, and it's just ridiculous. So, anyways, keep the good fight, keep your heads up, and we'll see you soon. Happy trails.